The headlines. Almost 3,000 injured and 9 dead after electronic pages explode simultaneously in people's hands and pockets across the country. Hospitals have been overwhelmed with casualties. At least 200 people are in critical condition. Hezbollah says Israel is to blame. In France, a man accused of drugging his wife so he and 50 other men could rape her admits all of the charges against him. The rapper and producer Sean Diddy Combs pleads not guilty after being charged with sex trafficking and racketeering. And a new home for the Commonwealth Games in 2026. Glasgow is confirmed as the host city. Ghislaine Maxwell's appeal against her sex trafficking conviction has been rejected by a US court. Maxwell was found guilty in December of 2021 of helping disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein sexually abuse young girls. She was sentenced to 20 years in prison. Around the world and across the UK, this is BBC News. Instagram has announced a change to its platform, introducing teen accounts, which they say will help protect teenagers and improve their safety online. It has parental controls as a default setting and will initially roll out in the UK, US, Canada and Australia, with the European Union being added later this year and the rest of the world in January of next year.
Hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs is denied bail after pleading not guilty to sex trafficking charges. And Europe battles climate extremes as wildfires rage in Portugal and huge floods force evacuations in Poland and the Czech Republic. A 12-year-old boy is believed to have become the youngest person to be sentenced in connection to the wave of violent disorder in July and August. He's been given a 12-month referral order after he threw stones at police in Southport the day after a stabbing attack in the town in which 3 girls were killed. The Commonwealth Games are returning to Glasgow in 2026, 12 years after they were last held in the city. The Australian state of Victoria pulled out of hosting the event because of spiralling costs. The Scottish government says it has agreed on a deal for a pared-back Games at no cost to the public purse. And the Princess of Wales has carried out her first work meeting since she began cancer treatment earlier this year. In another small step in her return to public life, the Princess had a meeting on Tuesday in Windsor Castle about her early childhood project. Now, that follows last week's video message from Catherine, where she revealed her relief that her chemotherapy had ended. The princess said this year had been, quote, incredibly tough, but that she had gained a renewed sense of hope and appreciation of life. Just before we go, a zoo in the UK is looking for a missing capybara. The animal, named Cinnamon, has been missing from the zoo for 4 days. Her owners have appealed for help finding her, but said, quote, she is probably living her best life.
New powers to make sure communities have access to cash and basic banking as more hubs are introduced in places where services are scarce.
A night in jail for the American rapper and music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. He's denied bail after pleading not guilty to sex trafficking charges.
A night of goals in the Champions League. Liverpool and Aston Villa both make winning starts, and for Villa, after 4 decades away, a night to savour in Switzerland.
Good morning. Is this the beginning of the end for working from home? The online giant Amazon demands staff return to the office full-time.
You look so wonderful in that dress.
Any requests? We're going to chat to the runner who was given a surprise serenade by Ed Sheeran while she was out for a jog.
The mistaken arrest of an actor in West London is being investigated by the Metropolitan Police. Reece Richards was returning home to Fulham on the 4th of September after performing in the musical Hairspray, when he says he witnessed a car crash and two men fleeing on foot. Despite pointing out the direction in which the two men had fled, he says he was pepper sprayed, kicked and thrown to the ground by officers. The London Assembly has warned of a dramatic drop-off in new affordable housing in the capital. 1,800 homes have been started under the latest Affordable Homes programme, which aims to build a minimum of 24,000 by 2026. In its report, the London Assembly said challenging market conditions and a delay in funding from the previous government have contributed to the problems. The beer and pub industry supports more than 160,000 jobs in London, but there are warnings that some of those jobs could be at risk without government support. Ahead of next month's budget, the British Beer and Pub Association is calling for a 5% cut in beer duty, claiming pubs make just 12 pence on every pint sold after taxes and costs. A Treasury spokesperson said the Chancellor has been clear that difficult decisions lie ahead. And the Acton Market Reduce and Recycle Hub and its dedicated volunteers have been nominated for a BBC Make a Difference Award. Held every month in Acton, its volunteers promote and encourage residents to extend the lifespan of existing items and recycle clothes, books and small electrical items.
Me and the volunteers are so proud and amazed that we've been nominated for the BBC Make a Difference Award. We all do this for passion and trying to make a difference, and so it's really nice that our efforts have been recognised.
Let's look at the papers this Wednesday morning, shall we? And the Daily Telegraph leading with that story we've been reporting that Israel is suspected, it says, of being behind what it calls an audacious attack. What we know is that at least 9 people are dead, 3,000 others have been injured after electronic pagers used by the designated terrorist group Hezbollah exploded all at the same time right across Lebanon.
Lots of papers also leading on that exploding pagers story, including the Mirror, who've called it a bizarre attack.
The Metro this morning leads on a court case involving Kyle Clifford, who's charged with the murders of Carol, Hannah and Louise Hunt, the wife and 2 daughters of the BBC racing commentator John Hunt.
And the Times says the Labour Party is quietly ignoring rules requiring civil servants to be in the office 3 days a week, something that Ben was just talking about.
We often talk about the changing weather, don't we, and how it's impacting the climate and sometimes what we can grow in our gardens. There's a lovely story in the Mail this morning about a chap called Andy Waring in Dorset, in Buckland Newton in Dorset, who got an allotment. It's just quite a small allotment 15 years ago. I thought, you know, I'm not going to do turnips or carrots or courgettes. I'm going to grow grapes. And it's happening. He's now producing 120 bottles of red wine, white wine and rosé every year. He's even scooped prizes at the Dorset County Show. He says it helps that his wife is French and she knows what she's doing. But, yeah, he doesn't want to sell it because he doesn't want to do the paperwork. But, yeah, isn't that amazing? 120 bottles.
And possibly would people be buying it?
No, I don't think you're allowed to, because he says it's all you have to get into licensing and all that sort of stuff, so yeah.
It is interesting because a lot of the French vineyards talk about how they've had to move to different areas or promote different wines than they used to because the climate has changed the soil so much in certain areas.
Yeah, well done, Andy. Yeah. It's better than a pumpkin, isn't it?
Depends on the taste of both, yeah. 24 minutes past 6. Now, what would you do if you won £1 million on the lottery? Well, for David Lawrence, the answer was simple. Buy a house in Surrey with a garden big enough to build a mini golf course.
And so that is exactly what he's done. And now David's inviting his neighbours to come along too, along with our reporter, Chris Slegg.
A year ago, Dave Lawrence celebrating his lottery jackpot. Having spent his life working with disabled people, his priority was to buy a house with a garden big enough to put to community use. Today, Dave opened his garden crazy golf course.
I'm just thrilled. This place, this house, what I'm able to do. Not everyone's got a garden, you know. There's a lot of people without a garden at all, and to share it is wonderful.
There's 3 holes, each dedicated to a cause close to Dave's heart. The nature hole, the bocce hole celebrating the Paralympic sport, and the pudsey hole, which Sarah was a dab hand at.
I like creating golf because I like playing. It's a good game and it's fun and it's healthy because it's more exercise for me. It's getting me out from the house.
It was great fun. I got all the in the hole. I loved the day. Thank you.
So we're all going to have a go.
Dave's told local charities those in need will always be able to use the golf course.
What's really nice is we can come back again and we'll be able to have more events here and we'll be able to get more involved, and so the more that we come, the more the guys will get more skills, so they'll be more independent and they'll feel more confident.
Tom, you've got to move it out from the fence, that's it, take it from there.
So how did Dave feel to see his dream become a reality?
Simply fantastic. I try not to get too emotional. Absolutely much better than I'd even imagined. It's been a couple of weeks of busy times, but it's superb. Chris, it's absolutely fantastic.
In this Leatherhead garden, there's a whole lot to feel good about.
Yes!
Chris Slegg, BBC News.
Brilliant.
Love that as a win-win on the lottery, isn't it?
Isn't it just? What a lovely man.
Brilliant. Well done, David. Good to see.
Conservationists declare an emergency as butterfly numbers fall to their lowest on record. Full military honours for 2 British servicemen killed in the struggle to liberate the Netherlands in the Second World War. Still to come, the retailer Amazon is demanding that all its corporate staff return to the office from January in a move to put an end to working from home. Inflation remained unchanged in August at 2.2%, according to figures released from the Office for National Statistics. It means the rate of inflation is still slightly above the Bank of England's target of 2%, which will decide whether to cut or hold interest rates tomorrow.
And a train to Gatwick Airport was cancelled after 2 squirrels boarded and one refused to get off. Passengers had to make their way along the train at Redhill, and the animal who wouldn't get off was taken back to Reading.
The Thames safe enough to swim in 10 years' time. London's mayor says it is possible, but at what cost to our water bills? The fires that have been burning at an illegal landfill for 2 decades, and the mums threatening to take the council to court.